What's going on, everyone? My name is Lucas Arellano. I am a BDR manager today, and I'm also a full cycle account executive, so I'm also my own BDR and closer. And that was following after being a BDR, the number one BDR nationwide for 16 out of 18 months. And I got there without going to college or having any experience at all. And my goal in making these videos is to save you the months of trial and error that I spent developing a system to land my first job and have this amazing career path. Now in this video, I'm gonna go over the hardest questions that they asked me in my tech sales interviews to get to this point that I had to learn the hard way, because I used to just wing it and then they'd ask me a question and I'd write down where I got stumped, or if they gave me feedback, then I'd go do research on what they were looking for and then come to the next interview more prepped. But it took a lot of interviews to actually come up with answers to all of them based on what they were looking for. And now that I'm a manager and I'm interviewing people, I'm able to give that insight from the other side of the scope, once again, to save you a ton of time. It took me 121 applications, 6 months of rejection, and a ton of trial and error. So stick around for the next 10 minutes and you'll save yourself 6 months of work. Like I said, I'm a manager, I'm an AE, I'm a BDR because I source my own stuff. I'm a business owner and content creator, which I create the content for my business, where I teach people how to land tech sales jobs. And I'm doing this at 9 p.m. on a Friday night because I'm super slammed. So that's why I have my computer in my lap with my script to stay on track and a t-shirt and a chain on, just because I'm exhausted. So the hardest questions that I was asked in my interview, I listed out 6 here, and there's gonna be more, but these are the ones that they asked me I didn't expect, and I fumbled and absolutely blew it. So the first one was, what was your biggest weakness? They've asked me this before, and I was like, oh, that's a good question. I can't think of any. That's a big red flag. When they ask this, they're looking to see how self-aware you are and how you deal with your weaknesses. So if you're on the job and you're a BDR and you're not hitting your targets, they want to see that you have the skill to realize something's wrong. They want to see how you approach analyzing what's wrong and how you go about fixing that. And it's good to be a problem solver, but you don't want to be fully self-reliant. Like, you want to show that you get knowledge from people that know better than you after trying to figure some things out by yourself. So you want to show your balance of both. And I said I didn't have an answer because I didn't want to disqualify myself, right? I don't want to be like, well, my biggest weakness is I don't know how to cold call. I didn't know what to say to make myself look good while making myself look bad. And it didn't seem fair in the moment. After doing research, I realized that there's a bunch of weaknesses you can have out there that don't directly impact your role on the job. For example, I genuinely struggled with public speaking before when I was interviewing. It's not so much a thing anymore because I get in front of people and talk now. But after bombing that, I realized that that's a great answer. I can tell them I get very anxious with public speaking, and it's always been a weakness of mine. And in order to fix that, I practiced just speaking in front of people. I volunteered for things at my church, but I've joined a Toastmasters club because those people have gone through it and they know how to train someone like me, and they're just wiser and they have more experience in public speaking. And so I'm proactively trying to fix this. And if there's any opportunity to speak in front of the team or present something, I'm more than happy to give it a shot, or if you have any pointers. What I did there is I was self-aware. I showed what I did to fix the problem, and then I'm seeking somebody smarter's help. That's all they're looking for with that answer. The next 10 minutes are super valuable because I'm going in super detail. I actually have a community link below for free, and it has a free guide on how to break into tech. It's not as detailed as my videos, but it's a great combination of both, and it'll give you a good blueprint and idea of what to do in order to follow my footsteps. You also have access to me and about 550 other job seekers, so it's a great place. I hope I see you there. The second question that they asked me is, why do you want to work here? And my original answers would be something along the lines of, I just want to learn how to sell so I can start my own business down the road. Never say that. They want to hear that you're going to work there forever. Or it'd be like, I love your product, or I love your culture. When they're asking, why do you want to work here? They're not looking for a recited answer that sounds good. They're looking for something genuine. They want to see that you're excited about the opportunity and that you're not desperate and that you went out of your way to select this company specifically. So if you don't have a good reason for why you're applying and you really are desperate, which is probably the case if you're listening to me right now, do a lot of research. Ask yourself, what does my ideal workplace look like? Is it a good manager? Is it high pay? Is it career development opportunity? Is it an amazing product? Is it a mix of all four? Do extensive research. Speak with a couple sales reps on the team. Look at Glassdoor or RepView to see the insights that these employees give on the company. And maybe you fabricate it a little bit. Maybe you really don't care about a really good culture or a fast-paced environment or whatever it says on Glassdoor. But if you're desperate for the job, go in there and take what they say and make it seem like that's what you've been looking for your whole life. Okay, so make it seem very specific to you and very genuine. Don't just say something bland like, oh, the culture, or I saw you paid well, or whatever the case may be. I heard of you guys, like everyone knows you, that's why I want to work here. Not good reasons, okay? Number 3, why are you leaving? If you don't prep for interviews, your natural answer is going to be honest. And I would never tell somebody to completely lie in an interview because a lot of times they can sniff through that. But what you don't want to say is, my workplace is super toxic, or I hate my manager. Nothing negative about your current environment outside of the fact that you can't make more money unless you take on more hours and you can only work so much overtime. Your reason for leaving shouldn't be, I'm really looking to leave as soon as possible. It should be, my company's great actually, and I love my manager and I love my team, and it's going to be really hard for me to walk away, but I have to think about my future and my 10-year plan. I'm a very ambitious person, and I'm not going to get there by just picking up more overtime hours, and it's time for me to make a change. I've always been the hardest worker, and I've realized that sales is an opportunity that allows me to work hard, and my biggest lever isn't how much time I put in, it's how well I can apply myself to close or source the biggest deals possible. So it's not that I'm desperate to leave my current situation, but I am very goal-oriented, and I want to put myself on the right path to get there eventually, and where I am today is just not it. Okay, so I want to leave desperately. It's, I don't want to leave desperately, but what really excites me about your opportunity is blank, right? So you can either go down the generic sales path, or you can say, place has been great to me. I'm not really desperate to leave. I just can't really grow here. But what really excites me about this opportunity, why I applied, is blank. And then you tell them why you applied and make it sound like it's really, personal to you, as I just mentioned in the last answer. Number 4, what does money mean to you? You would think maybe it's not good to sound greedy or money motivated. And that's how I am. Like, God is my number 1 priority, and family. Money used to be my God. And I said that in the interview. I was like, money used to be my happiness. And then I realized there's family out there and things that are more important than money. And it killed me. At the end, the lady literally told me, well, most sales reps are motivated by money, and you told me you weren't. So we're not going to move forward with you. And you try backpedaling, oh no, I promise it is. Not a good place you want to be in. It's okay to sound money hungry. It's okay to sound not greedy in an immoral way, but just super hungry for money. So when they ask you what money means to you, you can tell them it's my biggest motivator. Oftentimes in business or in sales, if you're making a lot of money, it's because you're helping a lot of people and closing a lot of deals and doing something right. So not only is it an indicator of success, but also a tool to build financial freedom and give me the future that I want and need for my future family, or my family that I currently have. Question number 5, how do you deal with rejection? Rejection's the most common thing on the job as a BDR. You're constantly getting rejected. You're picking up the phone, I don't want to talk to you, hanging up, or they don't answer the phone. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with applying yourself to something every day and hearing no 99% of the time and hearing yes that one time? Rejection needs to be the fastest way you learn. You need to genuinely know how to deal with rejection. If you get discouraged easy, I wouldn't do this job, because you can't lie around this answer. Because if you do and you get in there and you can't deal with rejection, what are you doing, man? So rejection needs to be a lesson teacher and not a deterrent. You need to be able to embrace rejection and almost learn to love it. You can even say, I've learned to count my no's because I know that a yes is coming. And if I stack up my no's, then I know I'm at least talking to people and a yes is on the way. So I'm not going to give you a templated answer there, but you need to articulate that you like rejection. It's the fastest way to learn, and that it actually encourages you because you love approaching challenges. And number 6, why should we hire you? It's really easy to beat around the bush here. It's really easy to say, I promise I'll be the best. It's really easy to say, because I'll outwork anybody. It's really easy to repeat a script I'm going to give you, or I could give you. But you need to be able to speak with conviction here. When they ask you this question, they're looking for confidence. You're selling yourself right now. And if they say, why should we hire you? And you say, oh, it's because, I'm going to outwork everybody, and I'm a really good team member, and I bring a light to the team, so that's why you should hire me. You're not selling them. When they ask you this question, you need to tell them, you should hire me because I will outwork everyone like I have in all my other roles. I've learned from rejection. I'm an extremely fast learner, and I'm extremely selfless with my lessons and losses. So even if everyone else is selfish and gatekeeping what works and what's not working, I'm going to share that with the team so that not only I'm hitting quota, but I'm lifting everyone else's numbers around me. And drop the mic. Keep it concise. Don't keep rambling and stare at them in the eye like you mean it, because what you're saying you should mean. Now remember, if you're going to promise to outwork everyone, which is pretty much the biggest checkbox to check off, you better freaking deliver on that. And that's what I did. That's how I scaled to be the #1 BDR, then account executive, now BDR manager, because I simply called more than everyone, took more lessons than everyone, and was more creative than everyone in coming up with new ways to do things. So those 6 questions were the hardest ones that I experienced in my interview process. I post stuff like this every Saturday. I haven't missed one for a while. Hopefully it stays like that, even though I'm super busy nowadays. Check the community in the link below for a free guide to breaking into tech. All the questions and answers for all the most common questions you'll get in the BDR interview process. And you have access to me. I've been pretty slow at getting back to DMs recently, but hopefully if you get in there, I'll get back to you. So God bless you. I'll see you next weekend, and have a blessed rest of your week.